The next recipe is from Apicius. It's called a minutal. It's got apricots in it and pork, and I know that sounds sort of weird, but I think it will show you that despite the very different flavor profiles of various cultures, there is some continuity from ancient times through the Middle Ages and down to the early modern period. I'll read you. This is a translation. This comes from Grocock and Granger's translation of Apicius. It says, the minutal of apricots, put oil, liquamen, and wine in a pan, chop in dried Ascalonian onions and diced cooked pork of shoulder. When this is cooked, pound pepper, cumin, dry mint, dill, pour on honey, liquamen, passum, a little vinegar, some of the cooking liquor, balance the flavors. Put in stoned apricots, bring them to a simmer until they're cooked through, crumble in a tracta and thicken with some of it. And the tracta, remember, is just a flour and water dough that's left to dry. So it's sort of like a pasta. People would argue it's the ancestor of pasta. I think today, if you want to just thicken, you can crumble in some crackers. That's perfectly good, or make the tracta yourself. Okay. Okay, it says diced shoulder of pork, so I've got this cut here is called a country spare rib. It's just a shoulder cut, and it has not a lot of fat. Which this one looks good. I usually make sausages out of this too, but he just says diced, notice not finely chopped. We want this to be a sort of fine stew meat, so that people can pick it up, you'll see, with their fingers, because it's the way the Romans ate. Okay, so I can just coarsely chop these into little bits. And we won't be stewing it for very long, actually, you'll see. Okay, so here we go. It says to put in oil. You can use olive oil. And you know, this would have been cooked obviously on an open fire. I'm just using the stovetop for the sake of simplicity. Some oil, some liquamen. And for liquamen, I am going to use our friend fish sauce. Okay, it's as close to garum, I think, as we could possibly get today. And it's, as you can see, this is weird. It's a weird technique. Putting it both in, okay? And then the stew, this is really just going to stew down. We don't want it to brown. We're not putting flour in it to thicken or anything like that. Okay. And they call for Ascalonian onions, and I'm not sure it's exactly the same thing, but I know the word is cognate with scallions. So you don't have dried. We'll put in fresh scallions. That'll be fine. I'm going to get rid of that part. We just loosely cut this up. I'm not sure what they're going to do in there, but that should look fine. And what he's going to have us do, once this is all cooked, which we're just going to give it a few minutes, simmer here, we're going to add in more flavorings, which I will get in 1 second. That would be pepper, cumin, mint, dill, honey, liquamen, passum. Oh, he also asked for wine in that, didn't he? Yep, and wine. Okay, no measurements. He doesn't have any. But you should imagine the combination of fish sauce and wine and oil is going to be very intriguing. Okay, let's get the other stuff. Okay, we need cumin. Some of that. We need pepper. We need dill. Raisin wine. So any kind of sweet wine will do. Let's see what we got. Okay, passum is basically raisin wine. So I think, you know, back then it would have been reduced first and then fermented. So any kind of sweet, thick Madeira or a Marsala would be fine. I just happen to have some of this. This is Pimm's, which is sweet vegetal. I think that'll be okay. You could just add more regular wine. That would be fine. But the sweetness should be there, and that's going to come from the honey. Smelling good already. I don't really think we need to cook this through. It's not meant to be a long cooked stew. It's really something quick. So let's add the other ingredients. With the pepper. A little dried mint. And I wouldn't worry about these stems, but a little dill. More of that. A little cumin. Some honey. My lovely little bear. Okay, and remember the salt in this is coming from the fish sauce, you're not adding salt to it. I think we might want to just add a little more of that. A little of the raisin wine will also add sweetness. And I think that, and vinegar. Okay, so let's just add a little dash of vinegar for sourness. I know it sounds like overkill, but it will be sweet and sour and savory, and I think it smells beautiful. And then we want to thicken it. So what he would have done is break up a couple of tracta in there. I'm going to do just the same with a few nice crackers. Good, odd way to thicken, I admit, but remember breadcrumbs are a standard thickening agent in the Middle Ages, and up until we get to La Varenne, that'll be the way to do it. I think it'll add a little body once they fall apart, just a moment. Okay, we're getting there. I'm going to put the apricot halves in like that, and it will go from a really, really tasty dish to something absolutely, utterly sublime. So let's let that cook for a while, and we'll come back to it and I'll show you what it looks like once the apricots have cooked down a bit. Okay? And thanks to Louis for these apricots. He brought them for me yesterday off of his tree. Great having neighbors in California, I'll tell you. Maybe more. I'm just going to arrange them nicely. It looks like a pleasant garnish that way. The apricots look nice and stewed. We don't want them to fall apart. We want it just to be able to be picked up like that with the apricots and the pork and there's the dish as I think it should look. Okay.